Riots are starting, or protests are starting in hundreds of cities across the United States this weekend. Will this re- will this be a rerun of the George Floyd riots of 2020? Will this look just like what happened then, or is this going to be something different? What's going to come out of all this, my friends? I got to tell you what. Uh, there is, the Democrats, took a hit from burning cities in Minneapolis and other states. It did knock them down somewhat in the polls because people saw the violence and it was abhorrent. However, and because of that, there are groups that are indeed calling for peaceful protest this time. However, there's also groups that are calling for the same stuff. How is this going to play out? We don't know yet. But what we do know is Governor Tim Walz has threatened to call out the National Guard to stop ICE agents. And we also know that there are those who've called for his arrest for insurrection to do that, to call out a National Guard against federal agency is that's insurrection. There's not much way around it. So that's a shade of civil war right there. But all this stuff, this is just like one more stepping stone toward the road of civil war, if not actually a peace or one more battle in a civil war, in an info civil war, which sometimes is more than info because it has taken lives, like Charlie Kirk, and it has also came near taking many other lives. So, uh, and people dance in the streets when some people on the opposite side get taken out, and that is in itself abhorrent. And most of the violence seems to be instigated, in my humble opinion, by the left. If you disagree with that, put a one in the chat room. If you agree, put a two in the chat room, and we'll see what people think about all this stuff. But my friends, we are in perilous times right here at home, as we're in perilous times abroad, because there's so much stuff going on right now. It is off the charts. So I am going to talk about this a little bit, and I'm going to share some articles because what we know is that, wow, what we know is that this weekend, the 10th and 11th of January, hundreds of cities across the United States are hosting Ice Out for Good protests and vigils. These demonstrations follow a nationwide weekend of action organized by a coalition including ACLU, Indivisible, and United We Dream, sparked by the events that took the life of Renee Nicole Good. That's a lot of words. Okay, in Minneapolis, and recent federal enforcement operations also in Portland, Oregon. So the major hubs for these large-scale actions, activities, protests, riots, whatever they are or will be, are of course Minneapolis, Minnesota, and there is Powderhorn Park, Bishop Henry Whipple Federal Building, Portland, Oregon, Washington, D.C., outside the White House, New York City, a protester in the 26th Federal Plaza in Lower Manhattan and Foley Square, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, marches from City Hall to the Federal Detention Center. In San Diego, there's multiple Ice Out for Good actions rolling throughout the weekend. There's a Pacific Beach, Boringer Springs, and El Cajon, and on Saturday, which apparently occurred today. In New England, there's stuff in Connecticut, New Jersey cities, and even in the South, in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Columbia, South Carolina, and Mobile, Alabama. And I'm hearing, seeing articles in Arizona Central website about activities here in Arizona. So this stuff is nationwide. How far will it go? Guys, you got to be careful if you're going out in the cities. I would say try to avoid these areas. It's not worth it. Uh, you know, and we're going to talk about this Renee Nicole Good too, because she did things that really weren't worth it. She was a parent, dropped one of her kids off at a daycare, allegedly. We got to wonder if it was the that Quality Learning Center. But, oh yeah, don't open until 2 o'clock, right? But anyway, you know, if you're a parent, you should be avoiding risk. in order to be a good parent and to provide a future for your kid, you shouldn't be doing stupid stuff, putting yourself at risk willingly, like trying to obstruct federal law enforcement. That's just asking for it, in essence. You're really taking a lot of risk when you do that. And to have been doing that when you're a parent is just a lack of responsibility. When you're a parent, you're supposed to have a brain cell or two to look forward to the future, provide a future for your kids. And whatever the risks are, they were taking risks. There's no way around it. You don't obstruct federal law enforcement without taking a risk. And now we see how that pans out. But it shouldn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out, I'm going to tell you. Anyway, I'm going to show you a list of those cities in a little bit by state. Before I do that, we're going to go into some of the articles for what's going on. I'm going to do an article share here. Share screen, bing, bing. There we are. Hopefully, I don't have all the issues with this I had last night, where I had to go in and out a lot of times. Anyway, Tim Walz is putting a warning to Trump and indeed calling out the National Guard. This is what this is all about. Calling out the National Guard seriously to stop ICE agents. So, there's articles on this. I don't make this stuff up. And GOP lawmaker calling on Trump to arrest Walz. And this is Representative Mary Miller, calls for the Insurrection Act after Walz warns he'll deploy Minnesota troops against ICE agents. And did I say Minneapolis earlier? Minneapolis City, Minnesota's a state. I know that. Sometimes I get my wires crossed because I get in a hurry here. Anyway, Greg Jarrett, if Walz is charged in Minnesota fraud scandal, it's not just, he's talking about being charged for a fraud scandal, not just for insurrection. This guy, Greg Jarrett's claiming his best offense is incompetence. Unfortunately, the evidence against him is so high, he may have a hard time pleading that. He said, "I hereby plead incompetence and stupidity." Well, everybody has been calling him retarded, right? Tampon Tim. And I think he might be somewhat retarded, but still, he had knowledge of and covered a lot of this up. So he'd have a hard time playing any kind of card other than pleading guilty. Maybe he can get out by reason of insanity. This guy was one heart. If this guy was a nominee for vice president of the Democratic Party, he would have been one heartbeat away from being president of the United States. And just look at all the stuff he's presided over. I mean, cities in his state burned in 2020 with the George Floyd riots. But anyway, so anyway, says he could end up in cuffs, and I think he should. Because if you look at the degree of the scandal, it's crazy. Mounting evidence against him, possible federal charges. Yeah, because and these go, guys, there was billions of dollars of your tax money that went into this. Billions of dollars of U.S. taxpayer money, including probably state taxpayer money, and went in to these frauds. And he actually was briefed on it back in 2019 and covered it up. So he's known about this for a long time. So, and he's suddenly deciding to wake us, not run for governor again. Well, that might be smart. Let's hope the state elects a Republican governor this time to get out of all this carnage and fraud that they've been going through with the Leering centers, quality Leering centers. With no students taking tons of money from us. And, we've seen the videos of the people that are in charge of these driving very expensive cars and dressed, like pimps. Anyway, for all, so these charges may come up against them stem from things like these are U.S. code numbers, 18 USC, that's U.S. code, 371, which makes it a crime to conspire with others to defraud the government. Yeah, defrauding federal tax money is just that. So there's also a conspiracy statute that he could be hit on. How about that? There's also 18 USC 2, aiding and abetting statute where accomplices are treated the same as the main perpetrators. That means if you're an accomplice, you still get charged. And he's at least an accomplice. The law gave rise to The willful blindness doctrine recognized by courts. Willful blindness, yeah, that's aiding and abetting, right? So, and they talk here about things that happen to where blind eyes were turned. And then there's 18 USC 3. It's relevant whenever a concealment occurs. And as I said, he got briefed on this back in 2019. So he's definitely known about it. Uh, so whoever knows the crime committed, but hinders apprehension, trial, or punishment is guilty of being accessory after the fact. Tim Waltz fits all these categories. And maybe this is why they really want to stir up a distraction in Minnesota. What do you think? And this whole thing started just what, 5 blocks, 5 miles, excuse me, from where the George Floyd incident took place. So they've been looking for something to get the attention off the prosecution that may come on the government, but he's added fuel to the fire by calling out the National Guard. So it says here that Somalian fraudsters were gifted a get out of free jail card, courtesy of the governor and his cronies. Yeah. And a cozy arrangement manifested in a recently uncovered audio recording of 2021. So it's not just the recent YouTube stuff. That really broke the ice on it. Pardon the pun. And actually drew attention to what was going on there. But this stuff goes further back. So, it says it's too early to know whether a criminal case will be filed against Minnesota's beleaguered governor. Well, it should be. It should be. Why not? They've got all the code. Yeah, he said he called himself a knucklehead, when he was running with Kamala Harris. He's more than a knucklehead, in my humble opinion. But anyway, and then, of course, this article goes on, who can forget his epic bungling during the George Floyd riots where the cities were burning and was allowed to happen. Was allowed to happen. Yet, this is the kind of guy the Democratic Party wanted to see as vice president. President of vice? Yeah. President of vice would have been a better term. Yikes, guys. This is mind-boggling who they will pick. Mind-boggling how they defend gang members, human traffickers. That's what these gangs are. They traffic humans and drugs. And the drugs do what to American citizens? And yet they get defended by these groups, by the left, by the liberal woke lost left, defending cartel members. I kid you not. And that's what ICE is going around trying to get out of this country. People that have attacked American citizens, that take your tax money up one side and down the other. They're going out of their way to defend these people. That don't bode well for them, in my humble opinion. Some British artist created a song recently where she said, "We love criminals. I love criminals." Yeah, and then she named all these other leftist causes. Wow, that was a real big self-admission. So anyway, so Minnesota House Speaker warns Americans will be shocked by the scope of the fraud crisis. And they don't even tell us what the scope is. It's probably bigger than we know. And that's why she says we will be shocked. And this is, what's her name here? Uh, Lisa DeMuth. Lisa DeMuth says any Democratic successor to Tim Walz would constitute a third term of failed leadership. Hey guys in Minnesota, I got a good friend on my channel from Minnesota. I hope I know he ain't going to be voting for Democrats, but maybe a few other people in there need to think about this. If you're in Minnesota, wow, will Minnesota put in another Democrat governor? Probably. Anyway, so this is something to think about, my friends. And here is the one that's thinking about running here. What's her name? Getting brain locked here. What's this woman's name? This thing about running here for governor. Oh yeah, Amy Klobuchar, however you say her name. Yeah, she tried to run for president before herself, did she not? She's probably cut out of the same cloth as Tampon Tim. Anyway, here's our good friend Nick Shirley. He was exposing this stuff. And what they do, they attack the messenger. They attack Nick Shirley up one side and down the other for exposing graft and corruption. Now you understand why they rallied so hard against Doge and vilified Elon Musk and attacked his dealerships, attacked his cars, attacked people who was driving his cars and the cars that were driving, the people that they conned into buying those things in the first place, their own kind. Who else was driving these cars? It was mostly people from their own crowd who got conned into buying them. And because they got conned into buying them, and suddenly they didn't like Elon anymore, they attacked them. What sense does that make? But then again, oh yeah, excuse me for getting confused. The issue with logic. Uh, there's apparent lack of logic with all this emotional claptrap that they put out. Anyway, so let's look at this case with what happened here with Miss Good. Let's have a look at it. This article here is talking about the legality of the actions taken by the ICE agent, Jonathan Ross. And essentially, what happened is Jonathan Ross had come out of his vehicle, walked around Good's car, and was walking around at another time. Nicole Renee Good's wife, I think her name was Rebecca, she is harassing the ICE agent and essentially saying, "Come on, boy, if you're gonna come after us, wait, what was it she said? Wear your big pants or something." Anyway, she was challenging him basically, and he walks around, and I'm gonna show you the video. He walks around the car, and you can see in the video that he filmed. She looks right at him. She had backed up, looks right at him, and then comes at him. And what you may not know, what they don't tell you, is Jonathan Ross was dragged 100 yards by a car in a previous incident. I mean, that can put you pushing daisies. He had already had a bad encounter with a car like that and probably was having a flashback. And here's what it boils down to. A law enforcement agent like that, if they perceive, and it's up to their perception, if they perceive that somebody is trying to end their lives or cause them bodily damage, they legally have the right of self-defense, which includes lethal action. That is the law. I don't care what anybody says out there, blah, 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 blah. And there's a video that clearly shows a car hitting him. So, and a lot of the left go, well, he switched hands. He had the camera in the right hand. He switched to the left hand and pulled his gun. Well, maybe it was when he saw things were about to get bad real fast. It's amazing how fast all this took place. And it's amazing to me how fast when he got hit, and he did get hit, that he was able to put it in her face. So he had a certain level of skills, that's for sure. Was he right? Could he have got by without doing that? Yeah, maybe, probably. Uh, he probably didn't have to do it, to be honest. But that's not the legality. The legality is his perception here. If he perceived his life was at risk and he'd already been dragged by a car 100 yards, uh, that's why, you don't go out, block, it's against the law to block traffic. It's against the law to impede federal law enforcement. And she didn't just pull in there and do this at one time. She'd been doing it apparently all morning or for some time. And she had been out honking her horn, which was basically trying to create noise and racket, which one would have alerted people the ICE agents were going after, and two, which this was an impediment of federal law enforcement itself, it would have impeded their ability to communicate with each other. So this killed two stones with one bird. The horn honking. She was incessantly honking her horn, and they say she was rocking in her car like dancing. So before all this happened, somebody had on another YouTube channel and mentioned, oh, well, she waved some traffic by. But she parked her car kind of diagonally in one lane where she could pull up and stop traffic she didn't want to go by and allow civilians by, basically. So that don't amount to a hill of beans. My other good YouTuber friend, he pointed that out. So legally, it is what the agent perceived in his mind. He did get hit, and he's had prior bad experience in this area. So, it's called, we'll go into this in a minute. I'll show some other stuff. Let's see if I can scroll this article. Oh, it don't want to scroll anymore. Am I suddenly being locked up again? Yes, I am. I got to stop the share and go back in. Oh, I hate it when that happens. Why is this happening so much with me these days? It used to never happen. Now it happens all the time. Anyway, so let's go back to that. See if I can scroll it now. Yes, it's crazy. All right, share. Bada bing, bada bang. Here we are. Hopefully I'm in the right spot. There we are. So, yeah, so there's a lot of arguments left and right on this. Uh, this video doesn't really show uh, Jonathan Ross really well when he got hit. Oh, my, hung up again. Oh my gosh. I can't believe this. I can't believe it. Let me X this one. Click on that one. Jeez. Stop the share. This used to never happen to me. That was happening to me every turn time I do anything, it seems like. It used to never happen. Now it's all the time. All right, so we're going to come in here and look at this video here. We'll look at a few videos. This is one which kind of amazes me. He's walking, now her car is down here. He's walking around it. Let's see. I can play it. See, that happened so fast. There he is right there. Boom. You see it hit him. You can see it hit him in this video. It hit him. It hit him. It hit him hard. How he actually fired at her, I don't know at that point. I mean, he's firing at her while he's being hit, apparently. It hit him. And that all happened so fast. So anybody that's saying it didn't, they're full of it. They are full of it. Here's another video. Let's see. Let's come over here. This is him walking around. Let's blow this up. I'm not putting the sound on here because it would play the sound from on the other video. So he walks around. And she's basically saying, that's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you, but just says she's basically playing rope-a-dope with him. You know, let me tell you something. People will off you without a lot of, if I was going to take somebody, I'm not going to sit there and go, like some people do. It's kind of like that scene from The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, where the guy is in the tub and the guy comes in and says, "Oh, I finally found you," blah, 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 blah. And the guy in the tub just raises his pistol and bangs him. Hey, we got a super chat. Awesome. Let's see here. Let's give credit here. Uh, Amran, or A-M-R-Y, A-M Ran. Okay. $10 almost here, $9.99. Thank you for all you do. I appreciate that. Salute to you. And let's move on here. Hey, look at she looked right at him, and then bang, right there it is. And look, his camera. That's where he got hit. Now, how in the world he's handling that? And that's when he was, firing his boomstick at her, his nug. You can see him right there walking around. And then look, this is his first time around. He walks around twice. You got me. She was out there honking her horn. Her so-called wife's out there harassing him, taunting him. She taunts him twice. He goes on around again. He's just walking around the car. The other agents are coming up, telling her to get out. She's taunting him some more here. And then she comes to the car. I don't think she actually gets in, but she says, "Drive, baby, drive." She looks right at him. There she is. And it's bam. That's when it all happened. And see, her car is already going down the road. So he had to be firing when she hit him. And one of the bullet holes is definitely in the front windshield in the corner in that car. So that's indicative that she was on him at that point. So it's a sad situation. I feel sorry for those kids. There is a split video here somewhere, and there's all these other people in here. Well, here's a split video of this, shown from two different angles. Talking to him, say, "Come on, buddy, come on." So they backed it up, and then they went and hit him. You can't see him, but you saw the fires gun. There he is. He shows up in that video. You don't see him until after the car pulls away, because he's in front of it. He's in front of it. You don't see it till it's done gone. Look at it again. Just want to stop it here. Yeah, backing away. Now he's right there. He's just right there. He's still in front of the vehicle. She's backed up, so he shouldn't have to think that she's going to run into him. But she did. She threw it forward. Bam! She hits him and he starts shooting. Once to the front windshield, apparently once to the side. I don't know. I think they said he might have fired 3 shots. I don't know. Bad situation, whatever it is. So I don't know. Here's what people are saying. He changed hands. So what? That is immaterial. Let's see here. This is yeah, that's the one where he gets hit right there. Just played that one for you. All right, here's the cities that the protest potential riots are occurring in. California. This ain't all the cities, by the way. There's hundreds of cities. I know Arizona's got some events taking place. So there's, yeah, okay, here it is. Arizona, Phoenix. Now there's other places. There's some other cities, but this is what I was able to collect. Okay. Los Angeles, San Francisco, Sacramento, Oakland, San Diego, Chula Vista, however you say that, and however you say this, and I don't speak Spanish. And this one right here, okay. Texas, Austin, Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, El Paso, Florida, Miami, Tallahassee, Sarasota, Stewart, Cold Springs, North Carolina, Durham, Charlotte, Raleigh, Arizona, again, Phoenix, Tucson. There's some other places too. I was seeing in the local news. Georgia, Atlanta, Illinois, Chicago, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh, Massachusetts, Boston, Michigan, Detroit, Grand Rapids, which is the other side of the state, Oregon, Portland, Eugene, Ohio, Columbus, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Tennessee, Knoxville, and Nashville. Yeah, I like to say it that way. Virginia, Newport News, and Richmond, New Mexico, and Albuquerque, Missouri, St. Louis, and Kansas City, and Minnesota, Minneapolis, Duluth, and St. Paul. Probably other places too. All right. So those are cities I would stay out of. If you're passing through the interstate, I wouldn't even get off the interstate. You might run into something you're not ready for. So he did go to the hospital. He could have been, Trump says it's hard to believe he's alive the way he's hit. He was able to kind of walk off, but still they put him in the hospital to check him out. So yeah, that could have offed him. Absolutely. You hit somebody with a car, everybody's saying, well, she's unarmed. No, she was armed with a car, automobile. Automobiles take out people. They're weapons of mass destruction in their own right. And that's something that other article, one of the articles I was posing talking about some of the law pertains to. But you need to know, Renee Nicole Good was Minneapolis Ice Watch warrior who trained to resist fast before the bang banging occurred. And there she is with her wife. So, yikes. And this organization that we're talking about here, the Ice Watch, Minnesota Ice Watch, the lefty activist group, taught members in general how to resist agents and de-arrest people, to get people that were arrested and break them loose somehow. I don't know. Guys, they were trained. So all this stuff she was doing and saying was part of her training. The whole way she blocked traffic, was honking her horn, all part of the training. Why would a mother be out doing something like that? Stephen Smith calls on it as completely justified. Well-known sports commentator. So people might think he'd been on the left, but he Uh, straight shooter talk. Anyway, so I'm not going to go into that, but just different people weighing in on Vance demands Democrats answer with an ICE officer in Minneapolis, bang bang, was wrong in defending his life. Of course, they'll probably answer, he wasn't defending his life. Like he may well have been. Got to remember, once again, he got dragged 100 years by an automobile. That's not trivial. And he had like 27 stitches or something like that after that, and God knows what else. Probably a lot of bruises. uh, but Pam Bondi warns Minnesota protesters, do not test our resolve. This is after the car crashed, and they put up the police tape around it. Ilhan Omar and two other House members are blocked from visiting ICE facility in Minnesota. Well, they were going just to cause trouble. And she is one of the Somalians, although not from Minnesota. But, that's the heart of what the whole controversy in Minnesota was about recently. Um, anyway, yes, she did. Megyn Kelly disputes that Renee Good didn't deserve to be bang banged in the face. So, yeah, we're going on in Arizona. More than what the other data I pulled up showed. So, huge crowds of masked activists storm. Now, this is nuts right here. Huge crowds. This shows the potential for riot. Huge crowd of masked activists. Don't these activists say they don't want masks on the ICE agents, but yet they wear a mask? They stormed the Minneapolis hotel after a rumor spread the ICE agents were staying there. Now you see why the ICE agents want to put masks on. The governor of California, all these other governors want to take their mask off. But what happens? The liberals go after their homes or families and attack. They want to attack their homes and families once they find out who they are. So that's why they want to demask them so they can go attack their homes, attack their families. Normally I wouldn't want to wear a mask, but if that was the case, I had to protect my family to do my job, the job appointed by the president, and what the president was elected to do. The president of the United States, his main point, the main demographic that got him elected was he was going to get people out of this country. He's doing what he promised the public, what he was elected for, and he's being impeded from that by the liberal woke crowd that wanted to defend drug runners and human traffickers. ICE pulls out. So once again, an ICE agent pulled out a nug and put it in a woman's face right there in Minnesota. So it's happening again, but they didn't pull the trigger. Well, if you're being threatened, sometimes that's what you got to do. And then we had this incident in Portland where a couple of individuals got shot trying to evade ICE, and they wanted to make this part of the, throw this in with Renee Good. They were going to talk a bunch of smack about this. Well, it turns out that one of them was a Trendy Agua member, and they thought the other person was his wife at first. Now they find out the other person was indeed a prostitute. So, page unresponsive. It's probably trying to load a bunch of ads. A prostitute. This kind of people that the Democratic Party, the liberal woke left, want to uphold and build statues for. Yeah. But things have got so intense between that and all the different war things going on right now that Kristi Noem and Marco Rubio have moved to a military base over security fears. And so they're living in base housing. Well, I lived on Fort Greely, Alaska for 2 years. I'm going to tell you, base housing is, it's nothing to write home about. Let's say that. It's decent, but it's nothing fancy. I'm sure that Kristi Noem and Marco Rubio have far better houses than anything on base. But the security on base will be a whole lot better. They won't have no groups and crowds forming around and protesting and trying to burn them out. But we're talking about this dimension of civil war here. So there's plenty of other individuals out there that have been trying to create all kind of problem, like often the president. So there's no shortage of craziness, of madness. But this is what's been happening. So that's the news content of this for the people to be watching this tomorrow morning instead of catching it tonight. I'm going to go quickly and look at our chat here, see what people are saying, how people are reacting to what I've been saying. Oh, we got another super chat. Hey, Brian Perendi from Minnesota. Salute you. Thank you. Buckaroos, no more games. There you go. Bedtime for Bonzo. We got two super chats. Very good. Thank you. Sorry I missed that earlier. All right. So let's go through here. And I am going to, before I get done, I'll check my phone. See if anybody else is in the background. Captain Trips. Thanks, Greg. Bedtime for Bonzo. I have to go to church tomorrow. There you go. That's a good thing to do. Arnold, one is my checking number. Elton Butterfield. I figured I was able to pull this off a little earlier. Hey, we got Jason Schmitz. Good to see you, Jason. I see some twos. I don't see any ones. What I was talking about there. So I guess people are tending to agree with me here. I don't require you to agree with me to be watching my channel. Some other channels do. But I require you to be civil if you disagree. That's all. No cussing, mainly. We are a family channel. Thank you, Jason, for asking the thumbs up. So I do believe in this. We got Colonel Klaus. At least she left with an open mind. Yeah, I'd say so. Yikes. Uh, America's beyond saving. You know, we still have a lot of good people in this country. The problem is that a lot of people have been so brainwashed that pulling them back out of that is going to be difficult. We may wind up we may have to divide the sheets to split the hickory nuts. We may have to divide this country eventually, just because certain people are a certain way, and they seem to be gravitating more to the liberal areas. But that may change. Maybe people will wake up and see that this crap ain't working. I don't know. So is his lieutenant governor. Okay, Brian, good information. Waltz, Ellison, Omar were all in on it. There you go, Nanny Anderson. I don't doubt that for 1 second. That's why Omar was over there probably trying to get into an ice facility. Anton Smith, how you doing, buddy? Ready to see snow come. I already had snow a couple days ago, and there's still a little bit on the ground out here. I think the high today might have been 35. It got down to about 11 degrees last night. Still doing red versus blue. Yeah, we got some of that going on here. Keep your comments child sensitive, please. Thank you, Arnold. We can allow our youth to become corrupted or negative. Yep, we're trying to keep it decent here. Wife, just like overbilling. Let's see. He was walking around in the front of the car to get a picture of the license plate. Does Minnesota have license plates on the front too? I don't know. Texas does. Arizona don't. Alabama didn't. Are these children sensitive in chat? Hey, Stray Kitten, good to see you. Well, sometimes I do have younger people watching my videos. I know that for a fact. And, and we got people that, we should be decent. I believe in trying to keep the language decent, at least when we're in public here with, a program like this. I do like to keep it decent. And, we got plenty of adults that just don't want to hear bad language. I heard a leftist say they don't care what the circumstances were. Bingo, that's just it. That's the problem, Stray Kid. They don't care. Leftists know it was justified. They don't care. You're right. They don't care. They're looking for a reason to cause mayhem, trouble, something to protest. Or they've been hunting an excuse for this for a while. And suddenly they found their excuse. And it is an excuse. Two wrongs does not make a right. In mathematics, two negatives might make a positive, but in the real world, two wrongs never makes a right. That's something my dad taught me from the time I was a little kid. Somebody does something wrong, you doing something wrong, is not an answer to it. A video a few weeks ago shows a ice pepper spray threatening people from their car window and purposely running into a guy into the back. I don't know what happened there to Watchman. Now see, video a few weeks ago shows ice pepper spray threatening people. So he was the guy in from his car. Is that what you're saying? Or he was threatening somebody in their car? There is a mess here, but look, we elected the president to stop the immigration and deport a lot of these people, especially the gang members. That's what we want to see. We want to see the gang members, sleeper cell agents, out of this country. If you're going to be in this country, you need to assimilate and become an American, not an agitator, not a criminal. And there's a lot of good workers come from south of the border. A lot of them are really good people, but we get a lot of people in here that are not. Something has to be done. We don't know if there are youngsters watching. There could be. Greg cannot risk any strife. That's true. I'm trying to keep from getting in trouble with YouTube too. Now, technically, they allow colorful language after the first, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes, some period of time after a video starts. That's their newer rules, but I don't know what that is, and I just don't want to go there. That's not my style here on YouTube. So he could have easily had his hand extended and it slapped it on the card. That's what I think happened. I don't know, the watchman, but legally, they're going to have a hard time making a case against him. Like I said, maybe it didn't have to happen, and I think probably it didn't have to, but legally, it's his perception that counts. So, all right, Brian, appreciate it. Say Stray Kitten, Cindy Lou, her GoFundMe account was closed at one. Yeah, you talking about his wife's GoFundMe account? Some people claim she made a lot of money off that. I don't know that, some people claim she got a lot of money as a result of this. I'm going to go here in a minute and check my email. See if there's anybody hitting my donate button on my website today. Not yet. I got an email from Brian. All right. So cops deal with crazy women all the time. You rarely see that kind of lethal. Yeah, that's true. That's true. When somebody's coming at you with a car, you got to remember, once again, he got drug 100 yards by a car. You can't put yourself in his head. So she had broken several laws, absolutely broke several laws before that happened. Oh, yeah. And the final thing she broke, they were trying to pull her out and arrest her. So she was resisting arrest. Hey, it's sad, but hey, she had her foot on the gas pedal when she took the GSW hit. Instant lights out. That's why the vehicle continued until yeah, she was already gone. Yep, she had her foot on the gas pedal and just kept going. This was ICE threatening just people on the sidewalk with pepper spray. Well, they got so many protesters now, they want to clear them out. They have been encountered by a vast crowd of protesters, and they want to get them out of the way because they're obstructing their action, their activity, and that's obstruction of justice, technically. So if you're involved in obstruction of justice, you might not have a good day. Northern Minnesota, no problems there. That's good to know, Brian. Stewart is asleep. Colorado Jan, how you doing? Good to see you, Colorado Jan. Hadn't seen you in a while. Good to see you. I'm staying away from downtown. That's the best thing to do. Cindy, did she really drag her kids state to state as a paid protester? I don't see any Lou. She moved from, I believe, Colorado, and she probably went to Minnesota just for this, most likely. Why else would she have went there? I don't know. That flipped on me. Just missed a bunch of comments. Scroll back up so I lost it. Okay, wow, I got to scroll way back. Now, I hate it when I'm Trying to scroll through and it just suddenly jumps to the bottom. Okay, now I see where I was at. Let's see. All right, Elijah Williams, that's a good idea. Stay away from downtowns right now. Did she really drag? Oh, yeah, that's the dragging the kids. Watch when you can't give people unlimited immunity or they will abuse it to no matter. Well, hey, my power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Hey, look, I'm not saying law enforcement, you get a lot of people in law enforcement because they're attracted to it because they can be forcible people. So it does attract some people that are thugs. Uh, I can't say what the case is with Ross Johnson. All we know is that he did fire, but he did get hit in some fashion, whether his hand was out or what, he got hit. But even then, he could have been pushing to try to limit his own bodily harm. Remember, he got dragged 100 yards prior to all that. So the problem is you can't just protest for this lady in her car. All the other protesters are going to piggyback on top of this. Exactly. But this is the kind of event they're looking for. Yeah, the wisest thing is to stay out of this stuff, people. I agree. On the double occupancy, the passenger had no control of what the driver was going to do. No, but she said, drive, baby, drive. So maybe she was part of the problem. Jason Lewis, conservative in Minnesota. I'm a Jason Lewis conservative. Okay. So we got squash. Hey, I like squash. He never got touched. Look at it slow. Then he got dragged. He would want a jump on the car. Oh, that's if he had his hand out, that's probably why squash. They keep raising more communists in public schools. Unfortunately, yes. America's divided. I don't like that one bit. That is a problem. That is a problem. Huge biblical implications happening in the world today. That's definitely true, the Watchman. That is definitely absolutely true. Uh, all right. I don't know how to pronounce it. Derek Kenon. You're awesome, Greg. Thank you. Your hard work and insight. Well, thank you. Yeah, I've spent a lot of hours coming up with all these video stuff. A lot of hours. I had some of these articles put up last night. I had to do some more research. And there's another topic I wanted to go into, and I discovered it's going to take me a little more time to go into the depth I wanted to. So I decided to do this one first. I was planning to actually cover the weapons, the alleged use of sonic weapons in Venezuela, but I've had to kind of put that on the back burner. I understand some other channels have talked the topic, but probably not the degree that I was going to go into talking the various frequencies and amplitudes and what they mean for and how they actually could be using weapons like that. And it did to me again. It just popped me down the bottom. So, gosh, two negatives make a positive. Mathematics true, but two wrong. Two negatives make a positive. Mathematically, that's true, but two wrongs does not make a right. It's funny, even in our language, two negative terms make a positive term. So technically, if you say I don't got no, it means you got some. I don't got no. You say that, that means you got some. Well, that's not probably not the intent. But two wrongs never makes a right. She was only under arrest for resisting arrest. It's something Roscoe said in Dukes of Hazzard. No, she was actually obstructing justice. She was blocking traffic, blocking federal enforcement, and she was honking her horn, which impeded their activities and alerted potential people that ICE was going after. So that's aiding and abetting whoever they were going after. Yeah, hey, I like the Dukes of Hazzard. That was a good show. Yeah, they don't put good shows on TV anymore. I don't watch TV anymore. They used to have some good ones on there. Federal charges for running from an officer. Yes, she was definitely trying to resist arrest. as a federal officer to boot. So she moved from Colorado and lived in Minnesota. Yeah, she had Minneapolis. Okay. Yeah, she had moved from Colorado and she moved somewhere in Minnesota, maybe Minneapolis. I don't know. Probably. Yeah, I'm not saying she deserved to die. I didn't say that anywhere in here, but if you're actually trying to run somebody over, yeah, a car is a deadly weapon, guys. Do not, do not discount that for a minute. You got to remember, where was that? Well, there was a Christmas parade where somebody drove through the Christmas parade, drove through an assembly of young little girls and old grandmas, two different, groups in the parade. There was a grandma crowd and there was a little girl crowd in that parade. He just drove right through them. Yeah, it took out a lot of them. Heavy carnage. People like that, you know, makes me really question this whole idea that, of humane capital punishment. Anyway, thank you, Colorado Jan. And I appreciate Colorado Jan. She sends me checks every month, so I appreciate her for that. She supports me. So salute to Colorado Jan. And Arnold supports me and by helping out too. So salute to Arnold. Watchman, I thought about the same thing when I saw this. Um, Arnold, I know a lot of women that operate that way every day. Yeah, well, if you're going to be out engaging federal law enforcement and obstructing their operation, you're asking for trouble. You're just asking for trouble. That's all there is to say about it. You can't do that and assume that everything's going to be all right. Just can't do that, especially if you're out blocking traffic, impeding the officers, honking your horn, and then you gun it, your gas, the one in front of you. There's a check in the mail. Well, thank you, Colorado Jan. Appreciate that. She sends me $20. Appreciate that. The Watchman. Now, if you're going in high public area in a car to cause mass casualties, there's definitely cause. Yeah, but once again, according to the law, the federal officer only has to perceive that he's going to receive bodily harm or loss of life. But it doesn't include loss of, it includes bodily harm. He's got to perceive a threat to him. So that's how the law looks at it. And I'm just telling you how the law looks. I'm not saying what's right or wrong in this case. I'm just telling you how the law looks at it. But guys, don't, if you're flooring it and you got an armed law enforcement person in front of you, don't expect a good outcome. Do not, under any circumstance, expect a good outcome in that case. So, and she was breaking some laws, quite a few. So it's a shame that it turned out the way it did. But the left was looking for this. It was bound to happen sooner or later. Sooner or later, some incidents like this was going to happen. And basically, they're happy it did because it gave them the excuse to create a lot of mayhem, especially the governor of Minnesota, because he's got all this graft and corruption with these daycare centers and other things, allegedly, there in Minnesota. And he's got other things that, now calling out the National Guard. But the bottom line isn't this incident. This incident is just a reflection of the bigger picture. Whoever's right, whoever's wrong, we're down to the nuts and bolts. And the big story of things, this was going to happen anyway, in some fashion. Something was bound to happen. You got 2,000 ICE agents on the ground in Minnesota, mainly in Minneapolis. 2,000 ICE agents. And so out of 2,000 people, there's always going to be somebody that's going to be more willing than others to do something. And that's a fact. And then you get all these people out heckling them. The tensions are high. RoboCop quote of the day, stay out of trouble. There you go. That's the best quote. But what I'm saying is this woman had kids. And somebody mentioned she only had custody of one. It may be. I don't know how many. She had three kids, but there was the report said she dropped one off, which that suggests maybe she only had custody of one, which really brings her character into question. But let's see. Honestly, I think Iran is a bigger story. Yeah, and I covered that last night, and I'll probably cover it again tomorrow. I'm suspecting the United States, yeah, they are mass casualty. I covered that last night or in the wee hours this morning. So go to Green Rex to see the story on that. That is a bigger story, much bigger story. But the reason I'm bringing this up is not about Nicole Renee Good. This is a symptom of a bigger problem. It's a symptom of the problem of division in the United States of America. You see it with Charlie Kirk. You see it with the attempts on the president's life. And this is still ongoing. You see it with the cause of these organizations. You see it with the governor of Minnesota threatening to call out the National Guard against federal agents. That's an insurrection. That's an act of civil war, basically, if he actually pulls through with it. But he probably knows that's going to get him arrested, and his outcome might not look any better than Maduro's. I think he could be plucked out of Minneapolis a lot faster and a lot easier than Maduro was plucked out of Venezuela. So he needs to watch it, and I think he may be a retard, but he probably knows better than that. Let's hope he does. Let's hope he knows better than calling out the National Guard. But he's probably going to be arrested anyway, just because of the fact that he has prevailed over and aided and abetted. I just cited out three or four different federal codes that he's definitely violated. So to see him arrested would not be surprising, although the political blowback might be so big that maybe it wouldn't be worth it. I don't know. Greg, put your cap on. You're messing with my contrast on my monitor. Uh-oh. Well, how about this one? Does that help? Anyway, she wasn't nuts. She was like so many other people who don't think with their conscious, rational reasoning process. Uh, and Brian don't agree with you. So, yeah, I think it's how I think just being woke is a little bit on the nut side. So, you got to tell me what you think. Is this better, the contrast? Well, this camera here don't pick up my satellite as well. So I've got my fluorescent tube on up there. But, this is a hat I wear mostly outside and around about. It's beat up, but that's because I wear it. It's used. This is honestly the hat I wear, and that's why it's got these where I keep my sunglasses, my shades. Sometimes I put a nightlight up there when I'm outside at night, dark, doing things. She definitely didn't consider the consequences. They were they went out with the family dog, caused some trouble, and went home in a body bag. Now that is true. The Watchman, that is true. So yeah, we don't have to agree with each other. Just let's all be civil about it. And there's a lot of things here, a lot to go over, a lot to unpack. It's a very complex picture. But to me, this whole thing with Nicole, with Renee, Nicole, I don't know, get all those names, good. It's really not truly about her. They just want to make it about her. This is a symptom of a bigger problem in this country. It is a symptom of the divide we have, and the divide is getting deeper. When the comments you see on Facebook, you got to remember because I have Facebook friends from different communities. Some are quite woke, and some are, conservative like me. And you can see the post. I see posts on both sides, and some of them just blow my mind. And I'll put a post out, and some of the liberals will come in and attack me for some of the things I post. And some of you are also on my Facebook and go in and kind of counter their postings. But it's just amazing what's in people's heads. It's just amazing, and the division out there. Sometimes I post things just to kind of keep the hornet's nest because I think it's been too quiet too long. uh, but the situation is that we do have too much division, and if we don't find some way to come together, we're going to be in far bigger trouble. Civil war is the ugliest thing you can ever imagine. And so I post this stuff mainly so that you'll know for your own safety to be situationally aware, to stay out of the cities. I'm not encouraging anybody getting involved in these things. Although I did go to some protests just to videotape one time, that were held in Huntsville. I walked all around. I think, yeah, I put it on this channel back, and it was some BLM protest. I don't remember if it was before George Floyd or part of George Floyd protest, but I did. It was several years ago, and I went around and walked around Huntsville City Square and saw the protesters and videotaped some of that. Uh, my interest is save America. I'll take the blows. There you go. And I do think that I think personally that I do not agree with socialism. I do not agree with communism. I don't agree with where the House of Klaus is trying to take us. I believe in freedom. And we have people in the Republican Party that are on both sides of that too, guys. There's some people in the Republican Party that love the House of Klaus. There's people in the Republican Party that are warmongers. I believe we've got to defend ourselves. And I do believe that China's basically declared war on us, and we've just been too stupid to know it. I've been saying that for a long time. So we've got to protect ourselves as a country. And I think that's a lot of what Donald Trump is doing. I don't entirely trust Trump, but he's doing some things that are right. His way of doing it, his manner of speaking, to me, is weird. To put it frankly, the way he talks is kind of weird. But the things he does, a lot of it is helping us. Now, I'm not happy with the stuff with the Epstein file. There's definitely some things he's done that I'm not happy with. So I tell you that, you should don't put your faith in any man or woman entirely. Don't put your faith in them. Don't elevate them to some sainthood level. You got to consider all people are people, but sometimes you have to choose the lesser of evils. But there's good and bad in everybody. That's something my dad always taught me. He said the very worst individual on earth has just a little bit of good in them somewhere, and the very best person has just a little bit of bad in them. So there's no such thing as some person being a saint or well, at least an angel in the biblical sense. No human is perfect. And that's a fact. No human is perfect. But Epstein's story boring. Well, some people find it interesting. Um, oh, my heater. I'm running out of gas in my propane heater. I'm going to have to redo the bottle here shortly. It's going to have to wait. I'm going to have to eat something before I do that. But I'm going to have to put a new bottle in tonight. I'm down to one bottle. I was hoping I can make it to Tuesday before I change them out. So, John Nicole, Colonel Cole, it was June 2020, Greg, just before the Rhino boss, hog, Dale Strong moved. There you go. Okay. So it was June 2020. Thank you for that. Yeah, I definitely went around and videoed that crap. So in the middle of the night, he's still not revealed who paid that fine. Ooh, moved a monument. Yeah. We had a monument of Confederate soldier standing by the courthouse. And there was a regulation that he had no right to move that, and he still did it. How broken and shattered the hammer of the whole earth. Broken and shattered is the hammer of the whole earth. Our societies are pretty bad right now. It's not born to the victims. That's true. Till politicians are held accountable for their crimes, this nonsense is going to continue. Amen. Amen, New Days. That's what we need to do. We need to shine a light on the ugly. A lot of these platforms like I'm on here, we don't have freedom of speech here. They definitely will shut you down if you say certain things. So I have to be very careful what I say. I can't talk about elections that somebody might meddle with. That is verboten. You can't discuss it here. There's some rule. They got some rules, and they shut channels down at the snap of a finger. And those rules favor the left. Absolutely favor the left. New Day's Iran is prime example tonight of what the ramifications of a complete failure of society, blackouts, and unfortunate mass casualties. Yeah, well, Iran is a pitiful situation. There are a lot of good Iranians. My main study bed in college was Iranian. One of my best professor, the one I took the most classes from in college, was an Iranian. Those two individuals were brilliant, very smart individuals, exceedingly smart. Uh, and I got along very well with both of them. Rashid Hami was the professor. He was a really hard professor, very hard, but I really appreciated him. And like I said, we got along. Not to shut the valve off on that thing a little bit. So, how many eggs did I harvest today? We're going to have to go here in a little bit. How many eggs did I get today? You and I have identical beards and mustache, Greg. Okay, Dave, that's good to know. Dave Siebert. Very good. Got a good friend named Mike Siebert. He's also involved in our Freedom Restoration Foundation. So, how many eggs did I get today? I don't have them all in my carton right now because I've already moved some. First guess gets it. Straight kidding, you're funny. I don't have that many hens. Got 12 hens. Keep guessing. Might take y'all a minute tonight. Keep guessing. Somebody get it a little bit. Keep guessing. So it's not 2, it's not 3, it's not 4. Keep guessing. It might blow your mind. Not 5. Oh, 4 and 5, 3, 4, and 5 are really typical numbers. A 2 is a typical number. No, I got more than 0 today. I had 0 yesterday, but today the hens made up for it. Not 9, not 1, not 6. It's less than 749. Straight kidding. Way less. Not 9. Somebody's already guessed 9. Not 11. Hey, Sally Ania. First time I remember your commenting in the channel. Good to see you. 8. New Day's got it. I had 8 eggs today. Believe it or not. I didn't get any yesterday. Well, New Day's got it first. 8 eggs. All right. Salute to New Days for guessing the egg count. Straight kidding. You're funny. She decremented her number 1. All right. Appreciate your sense of humor there, Stray Kitten. New Day's got it. 8 eggs. She was the first one to guess 8. So Pure Blood Lee came up with 8 later, but New Day's got it first. I need another beer. Yeah, that's a lot, but I didn't get any yesterday, so that's a lot. I think some eggs might have been frozen. So usually I save my newer eggs to eat later, but I'm eating these first because they got colder. They have to be refrigerated probably. They got really cold because it's really cold outside. All right, everyone. I really appreciate y'all for being here. Thank you, super chatters, very much. Now let me check my email again. I don't see anything else in the email, so I guess. Okay. Yeah, 7 was close. We had a guess for 7. We had a guess for 9. So it's like y'all bracketed both sides before anybody got the 8 number. 8's the most eggs I've gotten in a very long time, considering how cold it is. That is very astonishing. Yesterday, there was 0. And I've had 0 days before. So, in fact, 8's the most I ever got, these hens, because it's been cool weather. So that kind of breaks the record for me so far. I expect this summer to be getting a lot more. Or this spring and summer things. Greg, how are the worms? Yeah, the worms are doing good. How many worms did you make today? I don't know how many. My worm beds are getting full. They're growing. They're doing well. I just saw an article come out from Channel 12 in Arizona. They posted on the web talking about worms, talking about how they're getting in short supply. Now that's driving price for worms up. And it was the worm farmer down in Phoenix was a guy who apparently had some kind of worm meat. I didn't know about that. I wish I had known about it. But the funny thing is, that guy bought worms from me when I was in Alabama. When I was in Alabama, I sent worms to him here in Arizona. Walmart date. I don't know yet. Arnold, maybe tomorrow. I don't know yet. I'll try to let you know. So anyway, Arnold, did you get the text message I sent you earlier? Let me see if that works. Did you get the text? Okay, my gas ran out. He did, 10-4. Salute. You got the text message. Very good. All righty. So let's check the text messages. Hey, Chewy Weather, how you doing? We're wrapping up here. You're gonna have to catch it on the rewind. Kathy Pittman games. Don't lay in winter. I don't have, but 8 hens total right now. Yeah. My Easter eggers aren't laying right now. It's just my Dominickers. I got Easter eggers, Dominickers. I get an egg every now and then from Easter eggers, but they're not doing much. And I got a leghorn. I don't think she's laid but 1 egg since I got my hens. Maybe 2. I've only had 1 or 2 white eggs. Do you have any worms to? No, I don't give my worms to my chickens right now. I'm trying to breed my worms to grow my population. So I won't be selling worms for a little while. If I do, I'm going to try to definitely do it in a different manner than I did before, not ship all over the country. Unless I get somebody really good coming here and join up with me that I know is going to stick with it and who, can really work with me on it. If I get the right people in here, I might could go big. There's a ton of money in worms. Worms are in short supply. That's a fact. And to get a good price, I know how to do it if I had the right labor. Fried egg and bacon grease. Hey, I got a couple ways I fix eggs in the microwave. I will take a paper bowl and I will crack a couple of them and microwave them for 2 minutes. I'll put a paper towel on so it'll splutter all over inside the microwave. And then I can stick that right in a sandwich. I make an egg sandwich real fast with that. My other way is to take them and beat them with a fork. And then for this, I usually use 3 eggs. And I will put in turmeric, black pepper, because black pepper is excited about turmeric. And I put olive oil in because turmeric is oil soluble. And then I will cut up an onion. And then I'll either throw in, if I got any bell pepper or hot peppers or something else, and I try to mince up some garlic and put that. But it takes a lot of time to prepare that. So I don't always do that. But that's one of my favorite breakfasts because it's kind of a medicinal breakfast. That's what I ought to be eating every day, but it just takes more time to put that together. Deviled eggs are your favorite. Oh, I love deviled eggs. I love a deviled egg. Yeah, those are awesome new days. I definitely agree with that. I've made deviled eggs too. I checked and got the right bell, so I should get every notice. Been having problems with this site. Yeah, the algorithms don't like me. We know that's a fact. We know that this platform really represses announcement of my stuff. So catch some of it on Rewind, Chewy. My husband loves egg sandwiches. Yeah, you can make egg sandwiches from like making deviled eggs, the same stuff you put in deviled eggs. Just take the egg and mix it up with mayo and mustard. A boiled egg, smash it up, mix it with mayo and mustard. Ooh, that's good. And I use a lot of mayo on my eggs. And when I do uh, an egg sandwich, I put mayo on it real heavy. Oh yeah, one thing when I do the scrambled eggs, to make it fluff up, a lot of people add milk. I just mix in shredded cheddar cheese, and that will make it'll fluff just like it had milk in it. And I love the cheddar cheese. It's easier to keep than milk. So I have those from the store. Al Gore is an idiot. Yeah, we weren't supposed to have any more snow. So definitely. Jesse's not here. I'll say thank you. There's Stray Kent. Yeah, Jesse always tells everybody to hit the thumbs up. So thank you, Stray Kent, for calling for the thumbs up. If you're not hitting the thumbs up now, please do it. I'm gonna hit the revise button so I'll see how many thumbs up I got so far. And we got 66. Okay, very good. Yeah, if you hadn't hit the thumbs up, please do. And do everything you can to help me out here. help out with the algorithms. The algorithms do respond to certain actions. I think they got a squelch button they turn down on some channels like mine, but they also do, if there's more interaction with the video, they will promote it more. So go and leave comments after I put this in. I love deviled eggs, and we make pickled eggs too. Pickled eggs are good on with crackers and mayo, and a and an actual pickle, you know. So that's why maybe a dill pickle, making a cracker sandwich like that. I guess you'd call that a hors d'oeuvre or horse dover. Yeah, here in South we call those horse dovers, hors d'oeuvres. Major warning about artificial intelligence. Okay. I like cheese and milk in my scrambled eggs. There you go, Kathy. Guys, yeah, the AI, I'm going to do a special with Alex Lightman. He's an old buddy of mine from United Societies in Space. Why couldn't I think of that last night? It just came to my head immediately tonight that last night I had a brain lock. It didn't pop in my mind. I actually chaired a constitutional convention for space back in 2000. Alex was there. Alex is one of the guys that helped me pull that organization away from their socialist beginnings. He really helped me in that regard. Uh, yeah, it was heading for some real socialist direction, and that really scared me. And so I got involved, and I felt a lot like the main character in the Left Behind series when I started it. As I jumped into an organization I thought was taking things to you know where, and I wound up running the convention. The one that scared me so bad. There's always egg custard pie. There you go. Yeah, there's so many ways to, I could be the Forrest Gump of eggs, right? Although I'm not the cook that knows all these different recipes and different things. Maybe with New Days help, sit here and talk for hours on end about different ways to fix eggs. 1,000 ways to fix eggs. That'd make a book, wouldn't it? New CES robot debut 2026, 360 hands resemble Maximilian from Black Hole and torso and head, and full swivel. Yeah, those things can rotate their heads all the way around, some of them, or their torsos. Yeah, both. There's always egg custard. Yeah, all right. So, what Greg should do is have a regular time slot so people can know when he's going live. Arnold, I don't know when I'm going live. I go live when I get my stuff together. It might be 4 in the morning, or it might. This only went live earlier tonight because I actually had stuff lined up from yesterday that I didn't use yesterday. It takes crazy amounts of time. I've been working on this video almost all day. The research, I'm all day. I've got over 8 hours in this right now. And when I got a day job, that's why it's tough in the week to do a video early. It's late, and but I did spend a little time toward doing another video on these sonic weapons. But I realized to put it out there the way I wanted to, that I'd have to do more than just report on articles. I wanted to talk about it from the engineering and scientific standpoint. And so I decided to wait on that one. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. But we may have news. I mean, we may have overnight. I mean, sometimes I can just come in and announce something like I did the other morning. And I did a live video that, hey, we were hitting Venezuela. Sometimes I can do that. But I didn't pull up any articles or anything. I just gave you all the straight and skinny on it. I was in my van. The other thing is I'm probably going to have to quit doing videos for maybe 2 or 3 months, which may mean I get demonetized completely. I've got to do my taxes. I got 3 years of back taxes doing that. It's horrendous effort for me to do that. Horrendous. Pulling data together from so many different sources. It is horrendous for me to do that. And I absolutely hate it. But it's the only way I can keep, the government taking everything. Uh, so maybe I can do some live interviews or come up with some way to do single topic videos or something and still do a few. But these videos take up crazy amounts of time. And I really do not know, thanks to my schedule. I got vagrancies in my schedule that also drive me. Like today I had a mechanic here. Sometimes I get a little carpenter guy that comes out. Uh, Things that occur with work. My schedule isn't something I can just predict. and I can't predict how long it's going to take. I thought I would have been able to done this video this morning. That was my plan. And if I had, I wouldn't have went live with it. I would have just posted it. I go live when it's too, there's a certain threshold in time. If I post a video after a certain threshold in time, it absolutely tanks. Nobody will watch it. It tanks. And all the time you put into it goes nowhere. When I go live, at least because it gets momentum from people watching it, it will still go. I'll get more additional views than I would have got at all if I'd have went late with it. I would have got nothing. So it's crazy how these things work. Uh, and that's really the reason I go live so much. I probably, I wouldn't be going live as much, you know, if I could get the content out earlier, because for a long time I wasn't getting any super chats. I got super chats tonight. I did last time. So if I'm getting strong super chats, it encourages me to go live more, just for that purpose alone. Because when I'm live here from uh, Zoom is the video that the software I use to go live. It's not, it takes a lot of time and effort to set it up where it gives you the thumbnail ahead of time and its schedule. I mean, sometimes I will do a video that's like a premiere because it's kind of the best of both worlds in some ways. And maybe that's what I should have done for this video. Maybe I should have just recorded it and made it a premiere. That way you still have a live chat, but the video is pre-recorded, but you've also got to spend time pre-recording it. The downside of live videos is I tend to go a lot longer, and the long videos discourage some people from watching. So, it's kind of a mix about things, but I really cannot schedule right now. My schedule is too unpredictable. I got too many variables involved. Yeah, it would be better if I could. I agree, absolutely. It'd be a lot better if I had the same time and everybody had the expectation I'd be here this time or this time or to watch out for things. But with my life the way it is, I can't do it. You're lucky that I can put anything out at all. And quite frankly, I'm putting too much effort in this, putting too much time into it. Really, from a personal standpoint, it hits me pretty hard. And it's denying me from doing other things I need to do. I don't get enough sleep. I don't get enough exercise. I'm not working on the place here the way I need to, because I really put a lot of hours into this. But I did to bring you guys this information. The solid viewership is about news, what's going on in the world or USA. There you go, Brian. That's what I try to bring. Cousteau says, what do you say? Cut SPO. What does that mean? Buy? Are you not happy with what I'm saying? If so, or you just got to go. If y'all don't like what I'm saying, if you don't like what I'm putting out, tell me. What is it you don't like? I sure miss my grandmother's biscuits and my mama's. I can make them, but I think it's psychological. I can make some killer biscuits and gravy. They took out the Panama leader on the exact same time frame. Yeah, it was the same day of the month. Exactly. On the 25th anniversary, I think, something like that. So appreciate that, Elton. And that's one of the things that keeps me coming back here. Like I said, we're family. But when I get into my taxes, it's going to be horrendous. Horrendous. And I'm going to have to line up and make that happen. So you're probably going to see a prolonged period that I'm not able to do a lot. I might, I don't know. I got some things where I might be able to make up for that. I'm trying to get things edited I've got a pile of videos that are related to that transmission incident from back over a year ago. And so about it was all going down about a year ago. I am want to try to get that stuff edited and posted. I may have to get somebody to help me with that because it's just more than I can chew on. I'll put that on I'll put that on my Product Papa's channel. That may make that channel go viral. Call of Duty has a scenario of taking Maduro. That's interesting. That's interesting. I don't doubt that. All right, my friends, we need to go. I got to go. I got other things to do, and I haven't ate since this morning, so I'm actually pretty darn hungry. And I'm going to eat before I change my gas out. But I got to change my gas out too because the temperature's dropping here. Beef and cheese sticks. There you go. Thank you there, Brian. Brian likes to send me care packages. So Brian always, it's always a surprise. It's always entertaining what he puts in those packages. So when I get Brian's package, I'll do that live. That'll be one of my live sessions. Hopefully when Brian's in. So I'll try to open that on a live session. I always do. When somebody sends me something like that, I try to open it during a live session. So I do get some things from Chewy Weather. He sent me coffee and some stuff. I got plenty of coffee right now, Chewy. But he sent me a lot of gifts. I appreciate that. So it's just that Brian's got a good sense of humor. He always entertains me. So let's see. Groucho Globe, being self-reliant is very time consuming when doing it a lot alone. Yes, I'm not here by myself. I'm trying to build self-reliance. I'm working a day job full time and trying to YouTube too. So it really does hit me. But I got to do taxes. I got to do my back taxes. I'm way behind on that, 3 years behind. So doing a year's worth is rough. Yeah, homestead isn't for lazy people. Amen, New Days. Amen. A lot of people are having to do things on their own because of other people don't have any concern, like it's a business as usual. Yeah, and it's hard to find good help these days. Very hard. That's what killed my worm farm I had in Alabama. That's what really shut me down out there. I've had a big investment and I lost it because I couldn't find good help. Quite frankly, I was in a predicament. I couldn't just quit my day job and go out and do it because I had some high credit card debt from a previous girlfriend, and that's like being in a prison. It's shackles, it's chains on you. Credit card debt is, and it was really high. It still is pretty high. I was able to knock a little bit of it down, but not nearly enough. So, and that's an issue I got. I need to retire or be able to retire, and I got too much credit card debt. So I still got to work that. And that'll have me working probably for a profession for another year or two if they will have me. Uh, so a lot of jobs are going away from remote workers. My group then laid off 2 people, and a lot of people just don't hire remote people anymore for the field I'm working. So that could be a real issue if I'm suddenly forced in retirement. And if I work more than 2 or 3 months, I won't be able to draw anything for the rest of the year. Because I'm really, just because of my age, I'm not able to draw full retirement until I'm 67. Had I been born 3 months earlier, it would be different. Anyway, oh, come on, Greg. Who in the right mind will criticize you for their opinions? It's just your points of view. Now, debate is a topic. I don't mind debate. The belligerence is interesting, although I do get some belligerent responses to things I post on Facebook. Some of them are absolutely belligerent. Name calling, the left is really good at name calling. That's what they like to do. I mean, a lot from your worm farm videos. Oh, you learn like, yeah, I know how to raise worms. I know how to, I know how it can be extremely profitable. But I was just in a point where I couldn't quit my day job and do it full time. So I had to hire other people. And therein lay the problem. That wiped me out. I put a lot of money in that worm farm. Enough I could have paid off my debts and been okay. But I was anticipating a good outcome. Let me put it this way. When I shut down the first time, I was selling about 100. There was weeks I had nearly 180 pounds of worms I'd send out. And I had a crew working for me. It was real hard to assemble a working crew then, but that was in 2020. After 2020, the labor pool went to heck in a handbasket. Maybe it was all the free money they passed out for a while. I don't know what it was, but I couldn't get people of that caliber. So I tried to restart, and I had a big investment in the worm beds to try to keep moles out and different things. I put a ton of money in my property to raise worms. A lot of it was the labor that I hired to build and fix things, and it just all blew up. When you hire a large crew and they work 3 or 4 solid days and they only get 20 pounds of worms, I couldn't sell them for $1,000 a pound and make a profit, guys. I mean, that was insane. I just I saw that model was broke. I couldn't do it. It didn't work. And that's when I decided to throw in the towel. That and my greenhouse getting blown up and losing the job I had at the time. three things at once. That decided me to throw in the towel on Alabama. That's why I came out here. I just couldn't make that work. And, I had a mortgage out there and other things. I'd bought this property here previously. I already owned it. I fortunately got a sweetheart deal on it. And that's, why I came here, because I had this already. Um, so this is a retreat in a sense from where I was at. Um, but it's also my bug out plan. This is the best bug out location you can imagine. I mean, it really is. I'm in an excellent bug out location. Nobody comes down here. Nobody comes down. Nobody comes by here. So, yeah, but right now I've got bills to pay, big bills. So I can't retire yet. So if I was to retire, I'd probably just then go more into this stuff and or other things I like to do. But I know how to make money in Warren's. It's just I need to be able to be on it myself or find a really good partner. No riots, I hope not. So, but I'd still stay out of these places because you never know how these things can turn. You never know. Calm before the storm, the leftists are getting in gear. Now, Stray Kenton may be hitting right on it right there. That's what I worry about. Just getting geared up. Remember that stuff back in 2020? It took them all time to get geared up then, but then it went nuts. They were burning cities, burning cities. So you don't know yet how this is going to play out. The best advice is to stay out of the cities. I can't repeat that enough. That is the best advice for anyone. Stay out of the cities. Stay out of the places where these things are going on. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You're not going to go in there and counter protest and get anything accomplished. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. What I encourage people to do is, I've said this many times, and I did a video on rose-colored glasses. I said everybody's got their own rose-colored glasses. It's their worldview. Everybody views the world a certain way, and their worldview is shaped by a lot of things. Sometimes it's parents, schools, unfortunately, because schools have bigger influence in people's lives these days. And the crowds that people hang with, the information they take in shapes their worldview. And the thing about a worldview is you take in information in such a way that reinforces the worldview you have. And information that don't fit, you tend to throw it out. Most people aren't able to pull away from that and see a bigger picture. So what we need to do if we really want to get people the same mind is we got to find ways to reach across the aisle to communicate to these people that, socialism and communism and a lot of this wokeism just don't work. It's a prescription for disaster. And I've done a number of videos trying to appeal to people on that level, talking about the failures of socialism and communism, talking about the value of freedom, of the rights in our Constitution, talking about the value of capitalism. I've done dozens of videos on these things. But, fortunately, they only get viewed by like 1,000 people, maybe 500. So if you guys could find some of those videos and just start sharing them on your social media, that might be a way, or other sources, there's other good sources for this kind of information. That might be a way to get across to these people that we're trying to reach out to. But, if you hit them with everything up front, their shields are just going to go. You have to kind of gently start broaching things to them and just test them on certain topics. Ask them some critical questions that makes them think. It maybe shakes up their precepts. And I've actually think I've had some effect on Facebook. I've got a few liberal friends who, they're starting to see things a little different. They're starting to agree with me some. So a few of them, just a handful. But if you can turn 2 or 3 people, that's huge. And the algorithms enforce that absolutely. They do. Because they know what you're looking for, what you look at, and they're going to throw more at you. Absolutely. So that is so true. Wear a warm scarf covering the throat and chest, and you won't get sick. That does help. There's the fall out here. I got real sick, and I had to do something fast. I did, and it's probably saved me from getting a lot worse real quick. I drink every day, PAUD, Acro, and every, I don't know what that is. PAUD, Acro. Watch my, I don't even know what that is. Maybe you got to tell us about that. I don't know what it is, but that's interesting. Testimony, let's see, Cool Hand Luke. Hey, I love that movie. Cool Hand Luke was a very interesting movie. It was a cool movie. Anyway, all right, guys, we need to go. We've been on way too long, 94 minutes. So, Paul DiArco, is that what he was talking about? I don't know what that is. I don't know. Anyway, folks, I really appreciate everybody being here. Once again, I said this about 30 minutes ago. I was planning to get off here. Thank you, Super Chatters. Thank you so much. I'll check my email again, see if anything else has come through that way. Thank you, Super Chatters. Thank you, Texas Tea. There you go. Let me tell you a story about a man named Jed. Poor mountaineer, better keep his family fed. Then one night when he's hunting for some food, how did that go? He fired his musket, bubbling. I don't know. Texas Tea. I'll have to go back and figure it out. I used to know that by heart, but I'm getting rusty. There was going to be, there was no matter what. Um, yeah, you might change it from being so hardcore and rabid about it. You might persuade them it's not a good thing to celebrate someone's demise like Charlie Kirk. I'm not celebrating anybody's demise here, including Nicole Good, Renee, Nicole, whatever her name is. Have a great, but anyway, guys, but my real point on that is that the left shouldn't make a saint out of her and then use that as an excuse to burn cities. That shouldn't happen. Roll Tide. There you go, North Alabama. North Alabama hiking. Roll Tide. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll still be a Tide fan forever. Anyway, yeah, I am from Alabama. I'm one of the chosen few to be born in Alabama. I'm just like my daddy's son. I'm proud of who I am. Yeah, if heaven ain't a lot like Dixie, I don't want to go. There you go, folks. Hank Williams Jr. Now that's a guy, I like his songs. Anyway, look, I rewrote the song for you. All right, very good, New Days. Yeah, you've done some songwriting for me. I got to dig some of that stuff up. Anyway, yeah, everyone have a great week. A great weekend. So, hey, Loriotto, good to see you in the house. She's from back home in Alabama, Huntsville area. She came and visited me once at the farmer's market when I go there, her and her daughter. So good to see you in the house. And we got a few Bama people here in the house. It's always good to see folks from back home. We got a lot of people here from around here. Sweet Home, Alabama. There you go. And they even play that song here in Arizona. So always happy to hear that. I think a lot of you folks are visiting with Greg. Well, thank you for that. And yeah, it is good to know Cha Cha's okay. We saw her last night. We're worried about her. Yeah, folks, when you go to bed tonight, there's a lot to pray for right now. A lot to pray for. So again, thank you, Super Chatters. Thank you, mods, for keeping the channel clean. I am expecting some of the actions I've taken. We may see some trolls showing up, but because they may decide to come after us. But I know you guys will end that. We had troll problems early on in the channel, and you guys were flipping those trolls every which way, and they learned they didn't get very far in this channel. That trolls don't survive because I got the best mods in the world. So we know those trolls can't get anywhere here. Ace, how long has this been going on? All righty. So again, thank you everyone, and to one and all, a good night, good day, wherever you are.